Hi folks, and welcome back to Black Raven Racing. Today we're back in Gran Turismo 3 where we're going to reattempt the Trial Mountain 2-hour endurance race, which we were robbed of victory in a few weeks ago when the NSX overtook us just before the final chicane to beat us by 0.3 of a second after 2 hours. So I did consider going for the Mazda RX-8 again, but this time round I decided to take the Nissan Z concept because we've not had a chance to drive that one yet. Alright, so we're up against an NSX Type S0 again, Skyline R34, Lancer Evo 7, Impreza WRX STI and Supra RZ. So we will get a shot at redemption against that NSX, hopefully, if we can get close to the front. We're running super hard tyres on the front and hard tyres on the back. Take the Supra here, maybe get the Evo as well. It's good, managed to take care of both of those. And now the Subaru has showed me a little bit of space there, but not enough unfortunately, but we will get him on the corner. So a great start. Up into third. And we're gaining on the Skyline. Try to get up alongside him. It's just a little bit too fast. Oops. Tires are still pretty cold. So we need to be a little bit careful coming through here. Actually, I think last time we had a RX-7 in the race, so we're missing that this time round. Perhaps we've got the Subaru instead. We've left everybody else behind. Pretty evenly paced with this Skyline, it's a little bit faster. We're dropping further and further behind the NSX. Certain parts of the course we are faster than them though. wonder how many laps will go before the pit stops start. Got a good exit from the corner that time, eating into that lead from the skyline. Definitely catching the skyline now. Here we go. Well, it took a few laps, but we've got there. Going around the outside, but should be able to get a good exit. Skyline's in the pits already. Wasn't the smoothest through the chicane at the end there. Didn't need to go down first there either, oh boy. Oh, went into that one a little bit too fast. It's cost me a bit of time. So we're sitting about 10 seconds behind the NSX at the moment. I think that's been fairly steady for a few laps now, and in fact the NSX has gone into the pits. This should give us a chance to take the lead. And the tyres are not looking bad at the moment at all. This is a good sign. Here he is. Goes into the pits. That's half the field pitted so far. See what kind of a lead we've got now. 7.5 seconds. Don't expect that to last very long. The NSX will be a fair bit faster than us on fresh tyres. Tyres starting to show some signs of wear now, but it's early days. Easily get 10 laps out of them, probably a lot more. Leads down to 5 seconds. But if he's going in every 5 laps, he's going to have to go significantly faster than that in order to stay ahead of us. He's closing in fast. We are strong through the mid part of the course. Not so strong at the end here, as we saw in the last race. Oh no. Oh. Not enough grip to go around there that fast. That's certainly not going to help us. Trying to stay ahead of him. Car's handling is really good. Feels very planted on the road. And even though I've turned down the stability management and traction control, not to the lowest settings, but a lot lower than they originally were, it still feels very in control. NSX is not catching us as fast as he needs to. In fact, I don't think he's caught up at all this lap. He will do through here though, I suppose. Still 3.3 seconds though. I don't think he's going to get back past us. It's unexpected but very welcome. Skyline hits the pits again, so we're not going to have to worry about him any longer. We had a nice battle with him early on, but his tyres are just not up to the job. Brexit into the pits. That just leaves us and the Supra on our original tyres. Generally the tyres are still holding really well through the corners, as long as I don't overdo it. The gap's out to 4.2 seconds, so he's dropping back now. Catches up through that section, but overall we are actually pulling away. Over 5 seconds. So we've successfully seen off the NSX at this point. There will be a point where we need to go in for tyres that might not be that far away. Our lap times have been very consistent, with our most recent lap being our fastest, which is quite impressive. Slightly worn tyres. And an even faster lap that time round as the NSX goes back into pits. Very different story in this race to the last one. Getting a much better performance out of the Nissan Z than we were out of the RX-8, although the RX-8 actually performed exceptionally well considering it was up against an NSX and only just lost. But if we're doing about 136, say 137 a lap, what is that going to be in terms of total laps for 2 hours? So we're probably going to be on about the 73 to 74 laps. So I think if I can do 15 laps on these tyres, I'll come in at that point. I'll do 3 15 lap stints and hopefully 2 14 lap stints. We'll see though, if the tyres don't hold up then I can always come in a bit earlier. But at the moment they seem to be doing fine. Gap to the NSX is coming down, but only by 2 or 3 seconds a lap. and that's not enough for him to catch me. Much slower laps, so maybe the tyres are starting to have an effect. Skyline back in the pits yet again. 3 stops they've had. We're not even on our first one yet. I wonder when the Supra's going to go in. That'll be interesting. He's the only other one that's on his original tyres. Unless I missed him going into the pits, but I don't think I did. Gap down to 18 seconds. Tyres starting to show a fair bit of wear now. And we're actually catching up on someone. Pretty crazy after only 14 laps. This is more like some of the other endurance races we've done where there's been a huge mismatch. So I think for 10 laps these tyres were very good, providing me with plenty of grip to get the speed I needed for good lap times, but since then it's definitely dropped off. I wonder if maybe 10 laps and then a stop, or 11 laps might have been a good strategy just to maintain that speed. There would have been one extra pit stop, but probably would have been worth it in the long run. But we're going to go one more lap. Is the Evo that we're up behind again. Oh no, and the grip gave out there as we were going around that corner. Took it a little bit too narrow. Into 139. It would have been like a 138 probably anyway, had that not happened. But we're going to see that probably more often as the tyres get very worn like this. Oh, the car just kept rotating there. I wasn't actually steering anymore. So this is definitely feeling like 1 or 2 laps too many. Gap's down to 12 seconds. But we will both be going into the pits together. Should take the Evo here. That's him lapped for a little while anyway. Everyone is so spread out now. Barely feels like a race at all at the moment. road holding is still very, very good, but the grip around the corners is noticeably lower. Definitely time to go into the pits. Here we go. Get our first tyre change done. And the NSX should probably follow us. But we're dropping 2-3 seconds a lap over the course of 5 laps. That's most of the cost of a pit stop, and that's going to happen every time. So yeah, I think 10 laps is actually a better strategy. And I reckon we could do 10 laps now. Because we've done 15. So if we do 74 laps, that's 59 laps left. Oh, and Supra's in the pits as well. Oops, oh, I didn't need to brake there. So yeah, we could run a 10 lap pit stop strategy. But we'll see how we go on these tyres. And then make a decision later on. Go into the pit, so we will re-lap him. And the gap's down to under 9 seconds at the moment. Oh, turned too early. I was feeling like a good lap up until that. Just tried to push a little bit extra out of it to reduce that lap time. Brett's out into the pit, so we'll be pretty close to lapping him. And we're coming through here. Might just get out in front of us. There he is. That was a 138. It's partially down to that miscalculation. Oops. Dropped down to first gear. Slide through that corner, keep ourselves in front of the Subaru. I'm very much enjoying driving this car. Seconds ahead, so we've held them off again. Definitely learning how to do this corner after the RX-8's difficulties. This felt like a much better lap. It's 1:36. But the NSX is still faster than us. Gap's down to 6 seconds. Oh, we're drifting very wide here. Just kept it off the rocks. Taking a few chances around some of these corners. Just trying to get that body momentum moved from one side to the other. This felt like another really good lap. See if we can nail the chicane. Try to get as good a time as we can. Pretty good. 1:36 again. Caught too much at the curb there. So NSX will be going in for tyres at the end of this lap. Managed to hold them off again. Oh. A little too close to the rocks there. The gap is 6 seconds, so he's not going to catch us this time round. A little bit of gutter running. Get round that corner. And pulled out half a second over him. And we'll say goodbye to him now. Quite hitting the high speeds that we were in the first stint when I got two 1:36 zeros and a 1:35.9. This time around 1:36.6 is the best we've managed. Although those faster times did come a little bit later on. Maybe in about 5 laps time the tyres will be a similar amount of wear. But at the moment we are bossing this race. 24 seconds clear. Poor skyline. Every 4 laps going in for tyres. It's crazy. Still probably losing tons of speed around that corner, but at least it's stable. None of the snapping across that I was getting with the RX-8. just braking a bit earlier, making sure I finish braking before I start turning. And it's helping a lot with that corner, just in terms of the stability of getting around it without ending up on the grass. Past the half-hour mark by 5 whole minutes, so more than a quarter of the way through the race. Tried a different approach in that corner, it did not work. So when we get to lap 25, we'll have a think about how we want to take on the rest of the race. Considering this car is stock, its handling is absolutely amazing. Oh, we've drifted a bit wide on this corner. Could be in trouble coming through here. Car managed to right itself. Hope we didn't lose too much time. Absolutely no skidding going into the corners, no real oversteer, and not a lot of understeer either. As the tyres get a bit more worn, it does start to creep in, but it's fairly manageable. So I think we will come in at the end of this lap. And I think that'll be 10 lap stints all the way to the end, with possibly a 9 lap stint right at the very end. So we didn't need to go as long as we did on that first set of tyres. But that's put us in a very good position for the rest of the race. And it will give the NSX a chance to close that gap a little bit more, but I don't think he's going to make it close enough that he can challenge. And he's doing 2 pit stops to every one of mine from now on. And a 19-second gap at the moment, we should be okay. So we'll pop in for more tyres. And we'll do that every 10 laps from now on. And there is the skyline. Leaving just as we arrive. And we should be leaving just as the NSX arrives. Here it comes. Second time coming up to that corner, the car's just steered off to the left without me actually doing anything. It does take about 2 laps for the tyres to warm up, which has been... The second of those laps will probably be very beneficial for the NSX, although he's already cut that gap to 15 seconds. Drifting. Just clipped off the wall a little bit. It's disappointing. Try not to do it again here. So that will have cost me a bit of time. Gap under 13 seconds now. Might get it down to maybe around about 10, but after this lap he's only probably got 1 good lap left in his tyres. So 1:38 is not a great lap time. lap is down to just over 10 seconds. A little bit late on the brakes there, but the car handles it without any difficulty. I expected this to be very similar to the RX-8 in terms of its performance, but it is actually a fair bit better. I guess maybe it's a lighter car, possibly, or something like that. But despite having the same power, it feels more planted and a lot faster. I need to compare lap times with the previous video. And that was a 1:36 flat. So that's a lot more like it in terms of lap time. That is not great. Managed to hold that lead out at 10 seconds. And I don't think he'll be catching us now because his tyres are going to start going off. But whereas with the last attempt that we did on this, it was only in the last 10 laps or so that we took the lead. This time around we are leading from pretty early on. It was lap 6 when we got into the lead, and we haven't looked back so far. Despite the NSX getting somewhat close, he's under 10 seconds actually now. Didn't expect that. But he goes into the pits at the end of this lap. Back out to over 10 seconds. Too much turn in there. And yeah, the gap's extending out again now. gap is out to 28 seconds. And we're creeping up towards the halfway point. It seems like a 136 to 137 is a pretty much an average lap time for me here. But a real mess going through those corners. Catching up on someone. There's a couple of cars not too far ahead. And catching them fast as well. Looks like it might be the Supra. Goes into the pit, so we're going to lap him again. Closing in fast. There we go. Slide past on the inside of the corner. Still 24 seconds clear. And a couple laps to go before we go into the pits for more tyres. As much as I enjoyed the RX-8 in the previous attempt on this race, this car is much better handling. early again. Okay, so we'll come in for tyres again at the end of this lap. All the time the NSX is slowly pulling back that gap, but it just can't pull it back fast enough. So I made a mistake from me, a fairly big one at that, to getting back into contention. Wide this time, just dropped a lot of speed. Okay, so back into the pits once more. Had a couple of good laps there. So he'll be comfortably out before he gets into the pits. He's just popped into the pits now. Gap is 20 seconds at the moment. Again, he might get it down towards 10 seconds by the time he next is going to the pits. Oh, I tried to get too much out of those gold tyres there. Someone ahead of us. Someone else a little bit further ahead of him. Oh, we found ourselves in trouble here. Oh, got the angles all wrong coming in there. And that's the sort of thing that could cost us some of this lead. And right on the hour mark now. So we're halfway through the race. We are looking at 74 to 75 laps. Subaru in front. We are catching up fast. Oh, he pushed me a little bit wide and I thought I could hold it. But I couldn't. Slots in front, but we'll take him again. Be a bit careful going through here just to avoid contact, because we could end up thrown into the rocks, which is never a good place to be. Got everything sorted out in the end. Do the switcheroo on him. My line into that corner is very different from everybody else's, but it seems quite effective. Oh, it's right behind me again. All of this has allowed the NSX to catch up a little bit. Under 12 seconds is the gap now. Okay, let's see if we can do these corners a little bit better and not go in the grass for a third lap in a row around this corner. It's a lot better. Completely in the flow now. The lap times have not been terribly quick, thanks to the battling with the Subaru, but we'll see if we can get a better one this time round. There we go, 136 flat, much better. Very close to my fastest lap. And now we're catching up with someone else. There's the Supra in front of us now. Well, this has felt like a very good lap, and the NSX will go into pits at the end of it. 13 seconds back now, so we have definitely had a good lap. 136 flat. As usual, we gain through this section. Oh no! Missed my turning point slightly there. Had to ease across the front of him. Now the gap's out to 30 seconds, so every time it's just getting a little bit further ahead. Make us nice and safe. Oh, that's too much of the car there. And that hasn't happened very often. Pretty nice through there at that time. But then a little bit loose going into that corner. Cruising through there that time. It's going to be a 136.4 this time. This is feeling like a pretty good lap so far. Got another 2 laps before we have to go in for tyres. There we go, 135.8. Fastest lap of the race for us so far. time. Just cruising it now. It's feeling very comfortable. We're not running the tyres ragged either, which is nice. So I'm not having to fight the car at any point. Not the right angle to go into that corner, but never mind. As usual, the car completely handles it. No complaints. Oh, couldn't quite get around the corner at that angle. But we'll head in for tyres at the end of this lap. Been holding that gap at about 26 seconds for a while now. Oh yeah, the tyres are definitely giving out. Not hitting the right angles into these corners for a start, but then it's not able to hold it as we go around. Okay, so we will come in for tyres again. So after this thing we'll have 2 more pit stops and that'll be it. But it's never giving the NSX a chance to catch up. Okay, so we're out. NSX in. There's someone right behind us. Them off on cold tyres. Well, I had a little glance. It might be the Subaru. Earlier the change there. It might be the Supra actually. Definitely not been at our fastest round this lap. But we've managed to hold them off. Super goes into the pits, so we no longer have anyone behind us. I think what I might do, because we are going to have one 9-lap stint by my reckoning, possibly 2, depending on whether it's 73 or 74 laps. So I think we will actually make this a 9-lap stint. That will give the NSX a chance to close the gap on us for a lap. And if I get my sums wrong and it actually means there's going to be an 11-lap stint later on, that's fine, because we know the car can handle that. Struggling to handle some of these corners at the moment as the tyres are still heating up. Not been a great lap. about a 138, maybe even a 139. 138.7. Well, hopefully, now that the tyres are pretty much up to temperature, we can get some much better lap times. Tons of space on the track in front and behind us. We're struggling around that corner. It's not quite getting everything right anymore. Into the pits. NSX is doing a good job on that lead. It's down to 18 seconds now. That was a good lap for us, just under 137. Wild through those first few corners. Not the fastest we've done that. Already in second gear. Oh no, drifting wide. Ah, the car just doesn't quite seem to have as much grip all of a sudden. I must be getting my angles wrong. There's no reason why the car shouldn't be getting around these corners. That's better. A little more patience. I saw someone up ahead. Must be the Evo, I think, after we went into the pits. Second gap now. He's going to go into pits in a lap's time. Oh, cut that corner a little more than I intended. Am I close enough to get the slipstream? I don't think so. But we're getting epic speed around that corner. 1:36 that time, that's a much better lap. Gap is nearly 35 seconds. So it's getting larger and larger every single time he goes into the pits. And whilst I was hoping for a closer race than this, it is very satisfying to be able to put that NSX in its place. Through on another 1:36. Do 2 more laps on these tyres and then we'll go in, finish our short stint. Really thought I was going to have to be running 15, 14 laps every time. But I think actually this is a much better strategy because I was losing so much time on those worn tyres. This is keeping everything fresh and keeping the lap times up to pretty good times, if not always the best. Miles ahead of the Evo now. Too far behind a couple other cars. But I don't think we'll catch them in time before we go into the pits. It's been a not bad lap, this one. There is the next car in front of us. Oh, I've cut this one again. Just a little bit too eager to get across there. Looks like I'm going to catch and possibly overtake this guy before I go into the pits. Just right there. Guessing it's the Subaru. Just a little bit too fast on the change there. Could have had the chance of some slipstream down the straight, but alas no. Oh, I'm drifting as wide as he is. Give him a little punt. Side by side. Looks nice in the black, that car. Oh no. Whoa! No, he had a worse time than me. And as such, we've opened up quite a gap over him already. Oh, down to first gear. That's happened a few times in the last few races where I've changed down one gear, but it's changed down all the way to first. Ooh, just avoided those rocks. Okay, so we'll come in for tyres. R34 has just gone in, so we will follow him. Alright, we've got 19 or 20 laps left, I reckon. So we will have one more stop. Again, coming in just as he leaves. So 30 seconds was the gap. He's not going to get as close as I thought he might. Just because that gap between us has grown so much over the last 10 laps. So 15 seconds at the moment. I'm pull that down a little bit because I will be slower than him even though he's on worn tyres. I am on very slidey cold tyres. Yeah, the gap's 10 seconds now, so he is actually getting almost as close. I thought he might get it down to about 5 seconds, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Still pretty fast through that midsection, even on these cold tyres. Another lap on cold tyres and then we should be all set. Catching up with someone, might well be the Subaru again. And the gap's out to 28 seconds. Inside here. Cross together side by side with the Subaru again through this section again. This time we will take it a little bit easier than him, or maybe not. In more control, but still cut that final bit tight. tight. And again, we've opened up hugely because he's made another mess on that corner. I wonder if he's been doing that every single lap. That would certainly be costing him a lot of time. I do think that's sometimes the case on some of these tracks, that it's not that there's a big performance difference between the cars, it's just the AI seems to have difficulty with some of the cars in certain parts of the tracks. And it looks like maybe the Subaru around that chicane is one of those problems. Because if that's costing him, say, 4 or 5 seconds a lap, which it looks like based on the gap that I'm building over him, it's only 2 or 3 seconds a lap. Over the course of 60 laps, that's 180. 3 minutes, which is 2 laps. It's a very big difference. A 136 followed by a 137. Tyres are up to temperature now. It is good to have that NSX chasing us, just to make sure that we have to keep working hard. But I don't think it's going to be any problems now. We've got 15 laps left. And 25 minutes to go. Into pits here again. There it is. 136. Again, just kind of bottomed out going around that corner and whipped the steering around a little bit too tight. Something that was happening all the time with a Mazda. It's hardly happened at all with this car. Another 136. So I don't think the NSX can compete with this. Oh, drifting wide. Oh, wow. I think I carried a little bit more speed through there from an earlier corner that I did better at than normal. And it proved to be a bit of a problem. Having a bit of difficulty all of a sudden. Just not getting my angles right. Significantly worse lap, almost a 140, courtesy of slamming into the rocks, which is brutal because it really slows the car down, more so than hitting some of the other barriers. So after this race there is only one endurance race to go, which is the Mistral, 78 laps of Monaco, and then that's the endurance races completed. They have been a bit of a slog sometimes, but I have enjoyed them as a change of pace. Not been having to pick absolute top end performance cars. Trying to pick ones that are more in keeping with the ones I'll be racing against. Which has occasionally ruled out some very, very good races. And even in this race there have been moments where we've been really battling with the R34 early on. And we've had some good lappings of that Subaru, as well as the Supra and the Evo. I haven't really seen the R34 other than coming into the pits as it goes out, but then it goes into the pits again and I don't see it again. And as for the NSX, well, I haven't seen it since lap 5 when I went in for its first pit stop. It's been behind me, often not very far behind, but it's been behind me ever since. Big gap in front of us, but we will be going into the pits in a couple of laps for the final time. Carried that speed like I did before. This time I've made it round this corner. might be on for a decent lap here. I think the latter part of that lap was not great, so we're probably not looking at such a hot lap time after all. 136, almost a 137. And now we'll come in for some new tyres at the end of this lap. And that will see us to the end of the race. Okay, coming around the corner and into the pits for the final time. So again, this will let the NSX catch up a little bit, but he's too far behind to cause me any concern. He's going to be too far behind to even see me, I think. 34-second gap prior to the pit stop, and he is in traffic as well. So we've got 14 minutes to go. Gap is 14 seconds now. So again, he might get it down towards the 10 seconds, probably more like 11 by the end of the lap. But we are holding him off at the moment. In fact, he's not managed to catch up at all. I guess his tyres are too worn. He'll aim for a few good laps to finish up. As I said before, I'm so impressed with this car. Its handling is just superb. And for a stock car, it's got a lot of go in it. And it has easily dealt with the NSX. Ooh, superior tyre wear. I think it's tyre wear. I'll be interested to check back against the previous video and see if its tyre wear's been better than the RX-8 was. I'll have a little look after this race is finished, just to see how it compares, because it has felt like a big step up from the RX-8 despite being the same power. It's been a good lap, this one. It's a 136 flat. Another pretty good lap coming up, I think. A bit early on the turn there. Another 136. Came in a little hot into that corner. We are catching up on someone else. We should definitely get them by the end of the race. This time around it is the Lancer Evo. Skid through there. This time. Flying through this section this time. I think we're passing. Just managed to stay in front. This has been a very assured performance by the Nissan Z concept. so far ahead, with a pit stop still to come for that NSX. So the final gap is going to be in probably over 40 seconds. A little bit out of position there. Oh, and it's just cascaded through that corner. Oops. Oh, I'm getting a bit sloppy with the corners now. We've only got 6 minutes to go. Less than 4 laps, so it might be 73. We'll see. Or it might be that I'm able to cheese the last lap and slow down to avoid having to do an extra lap, given that my lead is pretty substantial. But one thing's for sure, there's going to be no tyre problems, so it's going to be a 9 or 10 lap stint. Yeah, we've got just under 4.5 minutes to go. So across the finish line, yeah, 4 minutes and about 12 seconds. My brain's too tired to do that maths in my head, but I think it's going to be 3 laps. So 73 is probably going to be the last lap. NSX in the pits. We are catching the Subaru again. Had to hold off a little bit there, I would have gone flying into the back of him. Getting on the corner. Superior cornering technique. And the gap's now 46 seconds to the NSX. So you might get it down towards 40 by the end, but no more than that. So we won't lap him, that's for sure. He's the only one we won't have lapped. And I don't know how many times I've lapped some of these guys. It's been a bit of back and forth, but 2 or 3 laps behind for sure. 136. So yeah, we've got 2 laps to go now, for sure. And it feels pretty good to be coming towards the end of this one and not to be having to stress. The last race here was very exciting, but for once I'm quite happy just to have a win here. I don't really mind how far ahead I am. So I think I am too far away from the 2-hour mark to be able to slack off and just try to eke out this lap until 2 hours. So we'll need to go one more. It's not been a particularly great lap for me anyway. As usual, the replay save completes just before the end of the race. Slower lap, but it's still at 137, almost to 138. And we're into the final minute, so we'll get most of the way around this lap before it pops up as being the final lap. Although actually I don't think it does pop up. I just cross the finish line and it tells me I've finished. The car has not relented all the way through, it's been absolutely dialed in all the way around. Made my life a lot easier, because my other option was to run with the RX-8 with traction control and stability control turned off, which probably would have been fine, but for this car to still have it on low settings, it just makes life a little bit easier through some of these corners, especially with rear wheel drive. Pushed a little bit too hard through that corner. But we're over the 2 hour mark, so nothing crazy required here. We're not going to catch the car in front of us, but we've done a fair bit of overtaking today. Most of it pretty clean. Come through the chicane for the final time, no one overtaking us this time, and it is a win. Excellent, very happy with that. Great car. Wish I'd used it in some other races now. But there we go, we were 2 laps ahead of the Supra, 4 laps ahead of the Impreza. No idea how much I'll be ahead of the others, but I'm not going to hang around for them to finish. See what prize car we get for this one. As always, some pretty fancy looking ones in here. Oh, and we've picked up another Formula 1 car. So I think that, I'm assuming that's not the same as the one I've already got, which would mean we've got both of them now. And that is very nice. Gives us some options. Nice. Alright, well that will do us for today. Very happy to get that race at the second attempt. So next week we'll be taking on the Mistral for the final of the endurance races before we go back to the professional league. So having gone back and checked the previous race with the RX-8, we were actually lapping faster with the RX-8, 134s and regular 135s. But we were only getting 7 to 8 laps out of the tyres and they were dead by the end of that. So I think the Nissan Z concept, much lighter on its tyres, which has made a huge difference in this race. So it's actually a slightly slower car, but with much better tyre wear, which is very interesting. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to see some more, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.